Hello, welcome back to 340 Paddler, and today I want to talk about some shuttling options for the 340. Of course, there are always those solo paddlers who don't have a ride, maybe people without ground crew, or you have partial ground crew along the way who can't give you a ride. So what do you do in that situation? Well, there are a lot of different options, and the basic problem is, of course, your car is on one side of the state, and you, well, your boat, and presumably you, are on the other side. Kind of a big issue. So, without breaking the rules of physics, let's see what we can do to resolve this. First, let's say you leave your car in Kansas City. Couple of things you should know. First of all, you want to leave your car at the hotel, if at all possible. The Hilton Garden Inn is actually really good about this. They'll tell you where to park it, and they don't really take too much of an issue. You could, of course, make other arrangements, find a paddler from the KC area, park it in their yard, etc. Do not leave your car at Caw Point. At Caw Point, there's a much greater risk of something happening to your car over the period of the race than there is if it's sitting at the hotel or someone's backyard. Then, as Merrick has done for years, you can hop on the Amtrak in St. Charles or St. Louis. I think it's in St. Louis. Take the River Runner back up to Kansas City. It's a few hours. What I've heard done in the past is people finish up late Thursday, early Friday, hop on the train, head back up, get their car. They're back in time for the awards ceremony. You can also carpool back. And that isn't uncommon. People do often have extra room on a rack unless you have a very specialized boat. But there's another option. Now in 2014, we had a delay with the race, and originally I was going to go self-supported. And I had it set up so that I would get a ride on one of the safety boats back up to KC with my boat, with my stuff, etc. Obviously, if you want to do this, this is something where you'd want to talk to Vicky or one of the safety boat crews and put into place ahead of time. But they are generally willing, as long as it's just you and you've packed light, to potentially take you back. But be prepared to leave early on Saturday morning and for it to take 2 days to get to Kansas City. But it wouldn't be very forgettable. It's something you would remember for the rest of your life. Now, second option. Offer your car for a ground crew. Now, this is a great option. You may have a ground crew where they can use a second vehicle. It would be very convenient for them. And at the same time, your car gets to St. Charles. Awesome. Couple of problems. If you have an old car that needs a lot of work to keep it going, that could be an issue. If you drive a stick shift, that could be an issue because not very many people drive them anymore. So let's look at that possibility. You could ask the car to drop off care packages along the way. So when they stop for their paddler in Lexington, assuming that you are behind their paddler, then they can drop off a care package at the flag at Lexington and do the same at Waverly and right on down the line. This is very, very convenient. However, your car may not arrive when you do. You could be faster than their paddler, which means you could be in St. Charles and your car could be in Jeff City, as one example. So something to consider. You want to find someone who's going to be relatively close to your time or preferably a little ahead. Also, of course, there's always the liability of someone else driving your car, etc., but that's usually not too much of a problem. Finally, there's the leave your car in St. Charles option. Now, it's very common on the 340 for people to carpool on Monday and leave their car at the Lewis and Clark boathouse. That is not a problem. In fact, you could oftentimes talk to the hotel that you'll be staying at St. Charles. They may be willing to have your car in their parking garage or their parking lot during the race. So that works pretty well. Usually the carpools leave on Monday, so be aware of that. Also, be aware of the fact that you're going to be carrying extra stuff down the river during the race because you're going to have anything you need in your hotel, anything for Monday night, etc., in your boat, unless you can arrange for it to ride with someone else down the river. So These are some of the possibilities that you have for shuttling your car. Hopefully one of them will work for you. Couple of things that I've already mentioned, but I'm going to mention again. If you have a very specialized boat, very big boat, this will be a problem. For example, if you have a 6-man Texas boat, or you have a Riverhawk where it has special requirements for the rack, carpooling could be an issue. Secondly, if you have a lot of stuff, it could be an issue. And third, if you have a tight timeline, it could be an issue. Or fourth, if you have a very unusual car, a stick shift or a Bugatti. So Johnny Ortiz, you cannot bring your Bugatti out. That's not going to work well for a carpool. But ultimately, we just want to see everyone get to the end to celebrate, to have a beer, and enjoy the Missouri River. Until next time, leave any comments, questions, concerns, quarrels, qualms, quandaries, curse words in the comments below. Otherwise, this is 340 Paddler, hoping that you keep your paddle in the water.